Welcome to American Uproot, where American expatriates living abroad take us on a journey through their new lives in distant and foreign lands. The places we want to visit, they call home.
In this episode of American Uproot, we traveled to Madrid, Spain.
I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
I'm from Los Angeles.
I'm originally from Vermilion, Ohio, and I am an American in Madrid.
While Madrid is famous for its siestas and its fiestas, this city has so much more to offer. In this episode of American Uproot Madrid, we are going to walk down medieval and ancient streets. We're going to see an old slaughterhouse totally transformed into a cultural center. We're going to be learning how and when to eat tapas. Should I cut the ham?
No, it's okay. I'm vegan actually.
What? You're missing out. Hanging out with an American Bluegrass band.
Ta-da!
And even doing a little Pilates in one of the biggest and most beautiful parks in Spain. Join me and 3 fabulous American expats as we explore one of my personal favorite cities, Madrid. Al cielo! Julie has been living in Madrid, Spain for almost 2 years. She's originally from Miami, Florida, and has lived in places like Illinois and New York. She's an archaeologist by trade, having worked on archaeological sites in Ecuador, Ireland, Spain, and the United States. When she's not excavating, she's teaching. She's taught archaeology and anthropology for more than 10 years. She currently has her own teaching company where she teaches English to students in bars, cafes, or privately at home.
Just whenever. Hi, my name is Julie Labati. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I'm an American living in Madrid.
Our first stop with Julie is the Retiro, Madrid's biggest open-air flea market, where you can buy clothes, antiques, or simply wander through the maze of streets and take in the styles, traditions, and urban vibe.
When I first moved to Madrid, I came here, and my impression at first was it was overwhelming. There are so many different things to see and do here. One of the things are the shops that have antiques, which is my favorite, being an archaeologist. I bought my first abanico, my first fan here. So for me, that was a really nice experience. I never had like a fan from Spain before. So it was beautiful, and that's actually how I started a collection. So I've started my own like fan collection. That's not the most amazing find, but that was my favorite thing that I've purchased here, yeah.
As Julie shops her way from one vendor to another, I decide to jump into the fray and join her.
For me, it's definitely more this idea of looking at these different things that we've used in the past and how we've created these objects in the past. For me, as an archaeologist, that's more important than anything else. So,
from the Retiro, Julie then takes us to the Matadero, a set of neo-Mudéjar-style pavilions where culture, art, and creative architecture have completely transformed a once desolate space along the Manzanares River. We also meet up with Julie's boyfriend, David.
I'm from here,
You're from Madrid?
Yes.
And how did you guys meet?
Well, it was in a coincidence, was in a bar, in a cafeteria. We just, I heard that she was trying to speak Spanish, and I said to her,
helps me.
So you
she
helped
needs help,
her?
Yeah.
Start talking, we give her their phones.
Good excuse, right?
Yes.
This is probably one of my favorite places in Madrid. It's the Matadero. It used to be a slaughterhouse, actually. There's now, it was converted now into a cultural center. There's a cinema, live theater, there's a cafe, there's an arts exhibits, and they do functions here as well. Live music, entertainment, everything.
Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's take a look. We come here as often as we can. I think we try to come about once or twice a month. Now we're going to, it's kind of like the welcome center of the Matadero. I think that's one of the best parts for me is that they tried as much as they could to keep the structures intact and to preserve as much as they could. So we're going to go in here.
It's hard to believe that this place was once a meat factory, filled with animals ready for slaughter. As we walk through the old cold storage unit, which is now the home of art installations and artistic events, I can't help but wonder if the ghosts of the past are lurking around us. As we exit the Matadero, we walk south to Madrid Rio.
We're at the Rio, which is the only river in Madrid. And this is pretty much built up as a recreational park. So we have these beautiful pathways that are along the river on both sides. And you also have a football pitch over here. We just passed a skate park, and there's little cafes and restaurants along the way. So there's a lot of different things to do here.
This is such a beautiful city. I can't help but ask if there's anything she doesn't like about it.
The only thing that I can say for certain that I do not like is the heat in the summer. That's the only thing. I'm from Florida. We love air conditioning. They don't like air conditioning that much here, so that was a big difference for me, yeah.
Okay, this was really great. Where are we going now?
I think I want to take you to La Latina. It's a really nice barrio, really nice neighborhood in Madrid, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Cool. Well, let's go. As we say goodbye to David, our last stop with Julie is La Latina, the medieval heart of the city.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in Madrid. It dates back to the medieval era, and you can actually see the architecture here. Some of the buildings still have the medieval architecture intact. In fact, this is protected by the Ayuntamiento. It's protected by Madrid. So some of the buildings, they cannot do any modifications to them. They have to keep them the way they were, which is beautiful because it retains that beautiful architecture, the different style.
As we make our way through this quintessential Spanish neighborhood, the ancient architecture is a stark and solid contrast to modern shops, cafes, and tapas bars, where people have been dining, drinking, and doing business for centuries. From the Plaza Mayor to the Palace, Madrid's center is the spot of all its former and present glory.
So this is one of my favorite plazas. It's the Plaza de la Paja. Paja is hay, and it's one of the oldest plazas in La Latina and in Madrid itself. So there's a lot of commercial centers here that were used to trade goods and services. This plaza was, for example, an exchange of hay. There's another plaza, another area that would be, for example, wheat. So each commercial center had a different location, and they just kept the names.
Before heading to the garden, we take a peek inside one of Madrid's most trendy cafes, Delic, which is located right on the Plaza de la Paja. So what kind of things do you serve here?
We have food from all over the world. We have tapas from Spain, we have hummus, guacamole, and different things. Cakes, we started 20 years ago making carrot cake, mojitos, and caipirinhas. Then you can have breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything.
And outside as well, I saw the terrace outside.
Yeah, the terrace is great. We have coffees from Colombia. Yeah, and everything is so good.
Lourdes, thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet
Bye-bye.
you. After taking a peek into Cafe Delic, Julie takes us to a quiet spot not many tourists know about, where we can get away from the bustling city without actually leaving the city.
It's called the Secret Park or Secret Garden, and I think it's really romantic and really beautiful. Sometimes you feel like you're not in the middle of a city. Even though you're in a very small space, it still gives you that feeling of nature. Are you hungry? I think we're gonna try and get some tapas. Yeah, let's do it.
It only takes a 5-minute walk to get us to Cafe Angelica, a cozy cafe and bar right off the Calle Segovia. So when you come to places like this, do you tend to come with other expats, or do you come with more Spanish people? Who do you hang out with? What's your social circle in Madrid?
Yeah, so when I first moved here as an English teacher, I was first making friends with a lot of other English teachers, not just from America, but also from England, Poland, Russian.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a mixture of immigrants themselves. But then when I met my boyfriend, I also have a lot of friends that are from Madrid themselves. So for me, it's really important to assimilate, to be ingrained in the culture, and to learn as much as I can about the culture.
And was there anything here that really surprised you when you first arrived culturally?
Yeah, I think the schedule itself was pretty different. You don't say good afternoon until you've had lunch. So for me, I was walking around my first week here and saying good afternoon at 12 noon, like right on the dot.
It's afternoon, literally.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Exactly. Lunch is later and dinner is later too. Lunch being the more important meal of the day.
Did you have any kind of culture shock when you came, or was it pretty easy to transition into Madrid life?
For me, like kissing on 2 cheeks was a little bit, not so much a culture shock, but it took a little getting used to.
Did you ever accidentally just kiss someone?
No. Think, you know, I never
meeting your
did.
boyfriend's dad, like that was awkward.
It's terrible.
It's definitely time to eat. Luis brings us some amazing tapas. So are these tapas? ¿Estos se consideran como tapas?
Estas tapas son un poquito más grandes de lo habitual,
Okay.
¿vale? Porque aquí sobre todo se viene a compartir. Entonces son un poquito más grandes de lo que viene siendo la tapa típica madrileña.
What time do you eat tapas?
A lo largo de todo el día. La tapa es algo que puedes tomar en cualquier momento. Puedes a la hora de salir del trabajo, antes, por la noche, al mediodía, en mitad de la tarde, cuando quieras.
Yeah.
All day. Tapas are Spain's way of not only snacking, but enjoying the pleasures and socialization of food. They're usually smaller portions that you and your friends share over drinks, and they can be anything from a few manzanilla olives to oysters imported from Galicia. There are even whole markets devoted to tapas, like the Mercado de San Miguel. Wherever you enjoy them, here are a few facts. You can usually get them at any time of day. They tend to be free with drinks, but it does depend on the establishment, and the bigger and more elaborate they are, expect to pay. Let's try this!
Salud.
Our lunch is ready. It's time to sip Spain's favorite aperitif, a vermouth.
Oh my god, that's so good.
And Julie makes a surprising confession. Should I cut the ham?
No, I'm okay. I'm actually vegan.
What? You
Yeah.
live in like ham territory. How can you be vegan?
I know.
You're
I know.
missing out.
I know.
Madrid is world famous for its ham. From jamón serrano to top-notch jamón ibérico de bellota, made from acorn-fed Iberico pigs that roam free, there's no shortage of this delicious cured meat in Spain. There's even a ham museum. Best way to eat it? On a simple chunk of bread. That is the quintessential definition of tapas. I'll eat the ham on your behalf.
Okay.
And I'm
yeah.
sure I'm
You'll
going to
take
enjoy
it
it.
for the team.
Unfortunately, our day with Julie is done.
Julie, thank you so much. That was such a good day.
It was my pleasure.
Great.
Great.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
And say bye to Debbie for me
I
as well.
will.
Okay?
Hasta luego.
Take care. Bye.
But now it's time to head over and meet Sarah. Sarah is a certified personal trainer and group fitness instructor who's lived in Spain for about 6 years. Originally from LA, she and her boyfriend Morgan and their 2 cats, Luna and Leo, moved here on student visas that they transformed into freelance visas when she founded Fresh to Death Fitness, a bar, Pilates, and personal training brand that offers group and private classes. When she originally moved here, she didn't like it. Eventually, though, she came to love the city at the center of Spain.
Hi, my name is Sarah Reinbold. I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm an American in Madrid.
I asked Sarah to tell me about herself and what brought her to Spain.
I moved to southern Spain to teach English, and then came to Madrid because I needed to be in a city. So I moved here with my boyfriend, and actually we met in Spain. He's American, but we met in Spain when we were teaching English in the south. And then we moved to LA together, and then came back together. So he's very much wanting to live in Spain forever. Yes, I have 2 beautiful, sweet little monsters, cats, and we actually got both of them in Spain. Originally, I moved here with our beautiful daughter, Sheba, also a cat, and she actually passed away about 2 years ago. So we have adopted, we have 2 beautiful felines in our life, Luna and Leo.
Wait, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, we found out that they have the same names as Javier Bardem's children. That was not intentional. That was a happy coincidence. My favorite parts of Madrid. I mean, I like all the neighborhoods. except for the very center. I love Chueca just because in Chueca there's so much. Like a lot of the stuff that I go to is in Chueca just because I kind of look for more like vegan and natural foods and that sort of thing, and a lot of that just happens to be in Chueca more than at other areas of Madrid. So that's kind of my preference. But I also really love the parks. I think Madrid is great because for a big city, there is a lot of greenery and there's a lot of nature for a city. So I really love going to the parks.
Madrid has so many parks. I asked Sarah to tell me her favorite.
So my favorite park is actually Parque del Oeste. It has lots of little quiet nooks in it. I like that it's more hilly. You have the Rose Garden, you have the Teleférico. It's just, there's a little bit of everything. I think there's more diversity.
The Parque del Oeste, or Western Park, was actually a landfill until about 1905, when the mayor of Madrid decided to redesign it as a place for rest and relaxation. There are two spots you should definitely check out. The Temple of Debod, which is an ancient Egyptian temple right in the heart of Madrid, and of course, the Rose Garden, which is one of Sarah's favorite spots.
So we're gonna head to the Rose Garden next. It's here somewhere. So we're just going to walk down this way and we should hit it. Rose Garden is super amazing. It's kind of cut off from everything, which I really like, because being in a city, sometimes I get sick of being in a city. So this is the Rose Garden of Parque del Oeste. Let's take a look around.
The Rosaleda, or Rose Garden, was built in 1956 as part of the Parque del Oeste. It is a smaller, enclosed park designed specifically for rose lovers, or just lovers, who can meander peacefully through the garden and admire award-winning roses from all over the world. We take the metro to Chueca, a neighborhood just east of the center, because, as Sarah explains, this is the barrio with the best vegan and vegetarian restaurants and cafes.
So we're in Chueca. Chueca is the neighborhood of Madrid. So you might still see some rainbows and stuff. Chueca's crazy normally. It's usually like a lot of people. There are lots of outdoor like terraces and plazas to have drinks, but normally you can never actually have a drink there because it's so full of people. It's really loud and colorful, and it's just a lot of energy typically. There's a really good selection of like more kind of natural, healthy eating restaurants and vegan things and juice bars and things like that. So most of that I think is concentrated in Chueca. So let's go, we're gonna check out Ohana Sana. So it's just right up the way.
Ohana Sana is on the Calle Barquillo and is one of a growing number of super health-conscious eating establishments that you can find in Madrid. Smoothie bowls, poke bowls packed with superfoods, not sugar. This is a side of Spain that not many know about.
Hello!
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So can you show us some of your stuff?
Of course, let's do it.
Awesome.
Wait a second. What's up with the perfect English?
I speak English because I went to Michigan State University back in the US. And then I spent 5 years working in Miami. It was really nice. Now I live in the beautiful city of Madrid.
I asked Michelle what kinds of foods Ohana Sana offers.
I offer food for the soul and for your health.
We're going down into the cellar to do our food tasting and check out the great space Ohana Sana makes available for meditation, yoga, art, and food.
Can you tell me a little bit about the space?
Yes, of course. Well, this is the Ohana Oasis. We do a bunch of workshops here. It's full of art. We also do art exhibitions for young artists.
Awesome.
And it's coming, like we're doing English nutrition workshops coming soon.
English, well. Yeah, nutrition and Pilates coming soon to this space, maybe.
To the Ohana Oasis.
Yes. We'll see. That could be a thing. I think.
This is our famous acai bowl.
Nice.
The special thing about our acai bowl is that we don't use any type of water or ice. In this, we use 100% organic acai pulp brought from Brazil.
The chef brings us Ohana's Happy Bowl. Red tuna, spinach, pineapple, avocado, carrots, and curry popcorn on top. Zero sugar and major mouth-watering flavors. After an amazing meal at Ohana Sana and, okay, I admit it, a little Spanish siesta back home, I catch up with Sarah to join her in front of the camera for one of her yoga classes in the park.
So where are we? This is beautiful.
So we're in Retiro, which is kind of like the central sort of meeting spot, I think, in Madrid.
Okay.
You'll see like a lot of activity here, basically.
While the Retiro is not one of Madrid's biggest parks, it is arguably the most popular. There are over 15,000 trees, a man-made lake where you can hop in a rowboat, fountains, monuments, and statues galore, not to mention a crystal palace, if you can find it, hidden among the trails. And of course, there are miles of trails for running, walking, or just taking a moment to sit and get away from the energy of the city. And there's also Pilates.
Best activity happening on a Monday night might be Fresh to Death Fitness, Pilates in Retiro. So yeah.
You trained in LA, is that right?
Yes.
And have you found it really different here? Like, how has the adjustment been coming to Madrid compared to Los Angeles?
It is different because Madrid, I think, is about 20 years behind Los Angeles in terms of fitness. So it's kind of hard because a lot of people don't know what Pilates is. But overall, it's really good, and it's nice because I get to be like on the front wave of that.
Okay. So I'm dying to know, is there anything that you miss about the States? You've been here for 6 years now.
Honestly, very little. I miss a couple of things. I miss Las Vegas because it's the best place in the entire world. And I miss Whole Foods Market because it's the second best place in the entire world. But apart from those two things, no, I really don't miss anything.
No. So you don't see yourself moving back there?
Never.
No.
No.
Okay, well, I'm glad because I need a Pilates instructor
in
Madrid.
Good.
So should we get going?
Cool,
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Sarah's yoga class, spending the day visiting Madrid's parks, and eating amazing healthy food has been the perfect recipe for getting back in touch with my inner traveler. And just in time, because tomorrow it's off to meet our last expat and find out his favorite spots in this phenomenal city. He originally came to Spain on an adventure after college to study the flamenco cajon and practice Spanish. 20 years later, he's still here. He's a percussionist, plays the banjo, sings, and works as a voice actor. For 8 years, he's been leading a weekly bluegrass session, Americana Music Jam Madrid, and plays in various bands. Let's meet Robbie.
I'm Robbie K. Jones. I'm originally from Vermilion, Ohio, and I am an American in Madrid.
In Spain, you can find Indian restaurants, Mexican restaurants, Japanese, even American. Our first stop with Robbie is the Toast Cafe, a place he goes when he's in the mood for an authentic American breakfast.
Holly, this is Ryan. And
Ryan, nice to meet
restaurant.
you. You know how to pick your friends.
Yeah.
Do you serve toast?
We do, yeah.
I presume you serve a lot more than toast as well.
Yeah. They have the best brunch in Madrid.
But why here? Why this place, Robbie?
Well, being American is easy enough to be comfortable in an American restaurant in Madrid. The place where this jam session used to be was closed. We needed a new home, and Ryan very kindly took us in, and we've become buddies since then. And,
cool. And an American-style place is obviously perfect atmosphere for bluegrass kind of music.
Yeah.
Cool. And are we gonna get to try some food?
Yeah, sure.
What did you have in mind to order?
I think we'll just take whatever Laura decides to bring us.
Okay.
Let's see.
Laura! Laura, have you got some food for us? She is.
You pick up. Oh my God, that looks amazing.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
All right.
So Ryan, what are all these? If I want to order this, what do I need to order?
This is a banana nut pancake. So a banana and walnuts with a little bit of mint. Really nice.
Mint.
This is our kind of plato americano. So
American plate.
Yeah, everything that you might want from home. So fried potatoes, really nice sausage, locally made by an Irish guy who I think everybody in Madrid knows.
Before we leave the toast, Robbie and his band Americana Music Jam Madrid play a bit of bluegrass for us. And later, he decides to take us out of the city and into the mountains, about an hour train ride from Madrid.
Welcome to Cerceria.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so refreshing to be out of Madrid. You can feel it almost instantly. Like the air is mountain air. We are not in the city anymore. So we came into this bar in particular. What made you want to bring me here?
Well, for one, as you can see, it's just a really funky room.
It's really cool.
And it was the first place I ever ate in Cerceria.
Really?
My buddy Nick, before I ever lived here actually, who was one of the attractions to coming up here, my Irish friend Nick, who's another musician, he lived here and he brought me up here for lunch, and it was just like, this is a cool place.
You come from Ohio. What brought you to Spain and to here?
When I finished college, I had wanted to do a sort of year of study abroad. And I didn't get to while I was in college. So I had been studying Spanish and music all along, and then I got interested in the flamenco cajon.
The cajon, which is Spanish for box, has its roots in Peruvian and Cuban culture. It actually came much later to Spain through the travels to South America of famous Spanish musicians. Flamenco percussion instruments for centuries were and still are the hands and the feet. But with the introduction of the cajon, there's a whole new level of sound to stir the soul. When in Madrid, the best place to experience flamenco is Casa Patas.
Well, the first thing we've got here is, look at that, patatas bravas, which is potatoes with a paprika sauce, pimenton, and croquetas, which are sort of like, I guess like, I call them bechamel balls because they're
Bechamel balls.
Yeah, because it's like a bechamel and then it's deep fried. Some people call them like
delicious. You don't totally sound American anymore. What's happened with your accent? Was it intentional, or have you just kind of lost it over these last 20 years?
It wasn't intentional. By all rights, my accent should be more British because my wife is English. Okay. But I've spent more time in Ireland than I have in the UK, and certainly more than in the US in the last 20 years. But sometimes I don't even hear it. And last time I was in the States for 2 weeks, and on the night before I left for Spain, someone said, "Why do you speak with an Irish accent now?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't know. It just happened. I didn't even realize."
Is there anything that you really miss about the United States that you miss from home?
There's loads of stuff I miss from home. Some of it is small stuff like endless refills of coffee, but the biggest thing is definitely family. Wow!
Oh
Thank you,
my
Ivan.
God!
This is the pierna de lechal cordero. It's lamb.
Like a whole actual leg, though.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a specialty of the Sierra, the mountains of Madrid.
Okay.
It's a very typical thing up here and a bit further north in Segovia.
Robbie's friends from the band Track Dogs pay us a visit. The four of them, Robbie, Garrett Wall, Dave Mooney, and Howard Brown, steal some food and join our chat.
This is my group, Track Dogs.
You guys are Track Dogs.
We are, yeah. How you doing?
I'm great. I feel like I should ask for your autograph. Something. Cheers. You interrupt away.
With a full stomach, we all do the Spanish paseo and walk off our meal. Robbie takes us down a few side streets and gives me a little insider information on what's here in Cerceria.
The thing is that you've got hiking up here, you've got a zip line park up in the valley in Las Dehesas. Tourism is actually very important here. And probably the two main things is in the summertime, there's a natural water swimming pool. It's fed by mountain springs. And then there's a train that goes to Cotos, which is way up that way. People with money build houses up here, and it was kind of a resort town with so it was a place that people come for a respite. And even back to Roman times, legionnaires would come up here as a rest place. It was a Roman seat as well. So. And now I'm going to take you down a special little alley. The reason why I'm going to show you this is because it's important to me, because Track Dogs has, we took the photograph for our album in here. So this alley right here is where we took the picture. Ta-da!
In Spain, you can't just have dinner and be done with it. It's time for drinks. We end the night with Robbie and some of his friends in the next town over, Los Molinos, for some homebrewed IPAs and, oh yeah, more food.
In this very plaza, two of the best restaurants in the Sierra, which one is behind you, it's the Colorín, and just behind me is where I play every Thursday night with my buddy Nick that lives up in Tercedilla, the Potato Monsters. And this place is called El Taller de Cerveza, and they make their own cerveza here. Hey, Jack.
Robbie!
How you doing, buddy?
Robbie!
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only American here tonight.
How many English speakers do you have hidden in the
Oh,
mountains?
there's a whole community.
We have a sort of extra-sensory Americanism happening here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Smiling Jack Smith. He's a phenomenal blues singer and guitarist and composer.
I can't let this night end without hearing Track Dogs play. After a little bit of cajoling, they're on stage playing one of their original tunes. Madrid, I've definitely fallen in love.